need to see this.
What is this?
Your wife has been killed.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. You got Mrs. Mod here with my man's Mod. And we just got back from a quick little weekend getaway, feeling refreshed and rejuvenated. But you already know, well, we couldn't really stay away from the movies for long. Now, while we were out, we did check out Theamateur, spy thrillers with a tense, anxiety-filled story that's more brains than bullets. And honestly, the title says it all. You got this so-called amateur who is a regular guy, kinda, but he is very, very smart. He has a super high IQ, and he sets out on a personal mission for revenge after his wife is killed. And everyone, and I mean everyone, underestimates him, but he's, way more dangerous than he looks.
And that guy is played by Rami, Malek, who brings that usual low-key intensity to the role. He's not the loudest person in the room, but he pulls you in just off of his stare and his line delivery. He plays a character, he's within the CIA, he plays in that analysis and decryption type situation. So he's not some trained killer, but he's smart, super smart, and he takes that to his advantage when he decides to go rogue and hunt down people who's responsible for his wife's death. What we end up getting is a cross-country manhunt, all led by this one grieving, determined dude, and somehow he's sliding across borders through checkpoints with ease, zero questions asked, which I guess you just gotta roll with it, but the setup was pretty solid. The grief feels real, and you can actually care about what he's doing and why he's doing it. You actually get it. The stakes are set high, the emotional core is there, but it doesn't hit to the chest like you maybe thought it could.
It starts off really promising. The early scenes, they do a good job showing his pain, the helplessness of losing someone you love and not being able to do anything about it. It's the setup that gets you emotionally invested, right? But after that, it kind of settles into a pretty familiar revenge story. Targets are introduced and he goes after them one by one. What makes it a little different is that he's not just punching his way through like you would see in a typical action type movie, right? This is more of a cerebral thing. He has to outsmart people, hack systems, manipulate situations, and the movie leans heavy into that spy thriller energy. You get flashbacks here and there to show the love between him and his wife, just enough to give context, but really not enough to build that connection. And still, the grief is there, and it makes his motivation believable. And this is a guy with honestly, with nothing to lose, and he definitely acts like it.
The entire mission is completely off the books. He's committing real crimes at every stop while trying to stay off the radar. And as we follow him, we start uncovering some serious corruption within the CIA. Shocker, right? There's some blackmail, backdoor deals, some real shady stuff going on, but the plot, it's juggling just quite a bit. But when it focuses on Malek's character, it's actually pretty gripping. But man, there's just some fluff there, a lot of extra stuff that doesn't really go anywhere, and it kind of weighs down the movie. There's a version of this that's a little bit leaner and tighter, that just is a little bit more effective. Instead, we got a little more detours than we imagined.
Y'all, don't even get me started on the supporting cast, okay? When I saw John Bernthal pop up, I was like, oh, this about to be good. But no, he was barely in it, and his character felt like it went through a rewrite that stripped away all the interesting parts. Same with Laurence Fishburne. He's great, always solid, but even he felt underused. They felt pointless, in my opinion. It's like they brought in these strong actors, teased their importance, and then there's this sense that something is bigger building, but it just never quite delivers.
There is tension, you are getting that anxiety feeling throughout, and the pacing is pretty decent for the most part. But the movie struggles with balance. It keeps switching days, locations, so fast it starts to blur a bit. You lose track of where you are and what matters. It wanted to be this smart, sophisticated thriller, but in trying to be too much, it kind of forgets the core plot a bit. That what we're actually there to care about. And while there are moments that shine, it's kind of surrounded by a little bit of noise.
Now, I gotta admit, this is my first time seeing Rami Malek as a lead in a film. Last time I saw him, don't judge, was back in Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 2. So seeing him carry an entire movie like this, it was impressive to say the least. I honestly think he was the best part of the film. Even when the script got a little messy, he kept me intrigued. He made me want to see how everything was going to play out. That alone might be worth the price of admission. Maybe. And I did appreciate that it leaned more into that spy thriller territory than just going full-blown action. It had a tone, a mood. It stayed consistent with that. But I was definitely hoping for some kind of plot twist, something to elevate this movie. And no, it just stayed on that same steady path from beginning to end.
It's actually wild too, because when I looked into it, the movie's been in development since 2006. Hugh Jackman was actually attached to it at one point. Now that's a version I'm kind of curious about.
Cut, you got it. Yeah, great, got it. Well, Brando was kind of an innovator.
Genius.
Yeah.
Because this version feels more something out of the early 2010s, like it's been sitting on the shelf for a little bit. That being said, it still offers something different from your typical action film. Less about the brute strength, more about using that intellect and strategy. It's a cool seeing that one man against the world concept done from this angle.
Now, if y'all into spy thrillers that focuses more on the mind games than the fight scenes, this one might be for you. But know this, it's never gonna hit that wow factor. You're gonna keep expecting it to, but it doesn't. It's a heavy slow burn with a flat finish. Still, Rami Malek, he held it down. But what y'all really came here for? After further discussion, what do we officially give Theamateur? Safer stream.
Maybe we start our own streaming service.
Now it's your turn. Have you seen The Amateur yet? What did you think about it? And what did you enjoy Rami Malek in the most? Let us know in the comments below. We always love hearing your take and discussing with you guys. And as always, make sure you tell someone you love them. We love y'all. God bless y'all. And let us go to the movies for you.
Bye.